Okay, so this video is review, or should be review, for some algebra concepts here. So I'm going to ask you to pause the video occasionally, see how you do on your own, just to see what you remember from last year. So what we're talking about in this lesson is the slope of a line. And our first scenario here is a woman who lives on the corner of 43rd Street and 8th Avenue. All right, so I'm just going to draw a little picture here to help myself. Okay, so 43rd and 8th Avenue. So there's 8th Avenue, and here's 43rd. How's she going to get there if she wants to get to the grocery store, which is on 49th Street? So that's going to be higher up, if you're familiar with the way that the streets are labeled in this particular city. And 6th Avenue, which is going to be over here. How will she get to the grocery store? Well, assuming she can't just phase through buildings, she's going to have to take one of two paths to get there. She's either going to have to travel 2 avenues, right? So she's going to have to run 2 avenues to the right and then climb. Looks like she's going to have to go 6 streets. Or the alternative path is she could go 6 streets up now and then take 2 avenues over later. But in either case, she's going to have to travel 2 avenues to the right and 6 streets up. Of course, that's one way that she could get there, right? She could take all kinds of little paths in the middle. She could go, up 2 and then come over 1 avenue and then go up 4 and then go over the final avenue, whatever. But ultimately, she's going to have to travel 6 streets up and 2 avenues to the right. So what if there was a subway that could take her directly from her apartment to the grocery store? So assume that there's a subway line that runs underneath her apartment and picks her up at her apartment and drops her off right at the grocery store. Which direction would it need to be traveling in? And we want to be as precise as possible here. So again, we want to use the idea that it's going to have to ultimately go up by how much and to the right by how much. It's got to go up by 6. It's got to go to the right by 2. And a better way to write that fraction would be 3 over 1. And I am going to leave it as a fraction rather than writing it as 3 because I still want to think of this as up by how much, right by how much. And if I start writing it as 3, I might get confused. So the direction that we're going to need to be traveling in is up 3, right 1. That's the simplest way to write this direction. And I want to think of this as the slope of the line that connects the woman's apartment to the grocery store. So let's think of this as slope. And we've got a lot of different ways to represent slope that you've probably been taught. First of all, usually when we represent slope, it's represented by the variable m. So I'm going to remember that this is a variable that we commonly use to represent the slope of a line. And we'll get into doing that a little bit more in the next 2 lessons. But the most common way to think of this is how much did you rise by? So, how many streets up did she travel? And how much did you run by? Or how many avenues to the right did she travel? Another way to think of this is change in y. So the change in the y direction divided by the change in the x direction. And we use what looks like a triangle here, but it's a delta symbol, meaning change. And another way to calculate this that we often use is we just take your second y value if we have a coordinate, and we subtract the first y value from it. Or we could do the same thing here with x and take the second x value and subtract the first x value from it. So this is a nice little formula box to have here because slope is represented a lot of different ways. It's talked about in a lot of different ways, and it's calculated in some different ways too, but ultimately it means the same thing. It's what was the rate of change of the line that you're measuring? How much did it go up by compared to how far it traveled from left to right? So what I'd like you to do here is pause the video, and I'm going to pause the video, and I want you to tell me what type of slope we are looking at in each of these cases. Because slope can be a few things, right? It could be positive. You could have a positive slope like we had in this case here, right? Hold on there, didn't mean to draw that. in the case of the woman going to the grocery store, we had a positive slope, right? This is increasing. So I would call that a positive slope, but we can also have negative slopes. We can have slopes that are 0. We can have slopes that are undefined. So what I'd like you to do here is identify which of these is the positive sloping line. Okay, so obviously we're going to pick the line that looks closest to the one we just did because we know that was a positive sloping line. A positive sloping line is just going to be any line that is increasing as we go from left to right. So since that one is going up, that is a positive slope. I want you to tell me what you think I would classify this second line's slope as. Go ahead and write that in here. Okay, so that would be a negative slope. And any line that decreases as we go from left to right is going to be considered a negatively sloping line. So a little note to make for ourselves over here. Anytime a slope is positive, it's going to be increasing like this. Anytime a slope is negative, it's going to be decreasing like that. Tell me what you think the slope is of this line here. So this is a situation where the slope of our line is 0 because it's not changing at all as we go from left to right. It's always the same, so there is no slope. All right. So a 0 slope line is completely horizontal. And then finally, what do you believe the slope is of this final line? And this is the tricky one. This is the situation where it's undefined. And so you know a slope is undefined if it's totally vertical. So this here is a little picture that I've seen drawn to help represent all the different slopes. It kind of looks like a guy. This is like the slope man. If you can see that, you got his eyes and his eyebrows and his nose and his chin and his mouth. This helps you remember what all of the different slopes are, right? Positive looks like this, negative slope line looks like this, undefined slope looks like this, and a 0 slope looks like that. Okay. The last thing that I want to remind us about from our slope discussions that you probably had in Algebra 1 are the special cases when you have 2 lines. Because sometimes you'll have 2 lines that intersect at a right angle, which would make them perpendicular. So in this situation over here, this is a right angle right there. But then in other cases, you have 2 lines like you have these 2 that never intersect at all. They just keep going forever and ever and ever, and they would be considered parallel lines. So we want to make a note about how we can know that 2 lines are parallel or perpendicular just by looking at their slopes. So I would say that these 2 lines are parallel, and these 2 lines are perpendicular. And I want you to tell me what are the slopes of these 2 lines and what are the slopes of these 2 lines. All right, so I'll go ahead and calculate these then. There are a few different ways we could calculate these. We really just need to pick any 2 points that fit perfectly on a section of the grid. So I'm going to take this point here and this point here, but it really doesn't matter which 2 I pick. And how far do I rise by? So that's 2. How far do I run by? That's 3. So the slope of A is a positive sloped 2/3. Now let's do the same thing with B. I'll pick another 2 points, any 2 points. How much do I rise? How much do I run? Again, that's 2/3. So B's slope is also a positive 2/3. And now let's take a look over here at the perpendicular lines. We'll have a look at M first. These are the 2 points that I'm going to go with here. How far does it rise by? 1, 2, 3, 4. A rise of 4 and a run of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the slope of M is a rise of 4, a run of 5. Now the slope of X is a little bit different. Now why don't I pick these 2 just so I'm out of the way. This is a rise of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I have to be careful here because it didn't actually rise at all, it fell. So this is a rise of -5 and a run of 4. So these are just my slopes of those lines. But hopefully there's something that we notice here. In these parallel lines, there is a pattern, and this is going to hold true all the time. So in parallel lines, the slopes of the lines that are parallel are always going to be identical because their rate of change is exactly the same. They're never going to intersect with each other. They're going the exact same direction, so their slopes should be exactly the same. However, with perpendicular lines, there is also a pattern. It's a little bit trickier to notice, but in any situation where you have perpendicular lines, the slopes of those two lines are the result of flipping the fraction. So I'm going to flip this over on its head and then make it negative. And so the way that we say that in mathematical terms here is we call it the negative reciprocal. So just to give you another example here, if I had a line that had a slope of negative, we'll use 6/5, then there would be a line perpendicular to it that has a slope of positive 5/6. These two slopes would be perpendicular. Let's define that over here in a little bit clearer terms here. Okay, so with parallel lines, we're going to say that the slopes of parallel lines have to be identical. They have to have the same exact slope. But with perpendicular lines, the slopes are going to be negative reciprocals of each other. All right, so hopefully most of that is review. We're going to spend the first portion of class tomorrow just practicing this before we move on to another lesson. But this lesson is just about remembering slope and figuring out how to calculate and classify slope.